Better go.
Never started with the chickens.
Molly, do you want to feed the horsey?
Look out!
This is the infamous turkey.
What are you guys doing? They're not stopping. They're not letting go. And they done tore up my yard.
Tails, you better quit. She's gonna get you. She's gonna get you. Get him! Get him, turkey! Go get him! Go get him!
This one's for Gus. Nope. Gus is going. Gus said he'll get it.
I'm gone. I'm out of here.
Do you like Thanksgiving? No?
All right. Oh, that's not the right thing. There we are. Hey, welcome to CF Students Live High School Edition. We're talking about Upside Down Kingdom tonight. I am working on this, so it'll be a little rough, right? Like, just kind of something we're trying out, and we'll get better at this as we go. I'm having some people try to call in as well. Like Dylan's coming on right now. Let's see if I can get him up here. Hello, Dylan. You're on the screen. Say hi to everybody.
Hey.
All right, so I'm going to switch back to me. Let's see if I can put him up there with me. There we are. Me and him together. All right, so let's put him on the other side, though, because... Nope, I like this side better. There we go. Okay, so to get us going this morning, golly, it's been a day. To get us going tonight, the first thing that we're going to talk about is what is something that you are thankful for? And then here in a second, Dylan and I are going to do a dad joke battle. So if you want to go ahead and place your bets on which one of us is going to win, I would probably pick Dylan because he's got the most dad jokes. But anyway, what is something that you are thankful for? And I'll start, and then Dylan can say something, and then you guys can put in the comments. I'm live on a computer that I can't see the comments, so I'm sorry I haven't figured that part out yet. But there'll be somebody there to kind of comment with you. You guys can comment together. I know we're live on CF Students Facebook page. We're live on our YouTube channel, CF Students YouTube, and we are also live on our Church Online platform. So if you click that link off of the church website, then you're on the Church Online platform. And so, anyway, Lee Jane's texting me too, and so I'm going to get that in just a second when Dylan answers the question. But I'm thankful for this quilt that's behind me. My grandmother made it. It's making a good backdrop tonight. Interesting patterns to look at, right? But my grandmother made it. She passed away a couple of weeks ago, and this is one of the things that I got from her, so it's special to me. And it's pretty cool looking. It's got older colors, but it's a hexagon-like patterns. I like it. I'm thankful for it, grateful for it, to remember my grandmother by. Good memories there. Dylan, what are you thankful for?
I am thankful for mirrors.
Mirrors?
So I can look at this fantastic hair that I've got going on. Yes, I just said that on live Facebook platforms. I realize that now.
Okay. Oh, wait. Dee Dee's joining. Let's see if we can get Dee Dee in here. Let's add her. Hey, Dee Dee, you are now live with us. You're on the screen. You may not see it because I don't know which platform you're on. It might be a couple of minutes delayed. But anyway, what are you thankful for?
I am thankful for my husband, my health, my church, and my family.
All right. Those are good things. Like me and Dylan. Well, Dylan was trying to be funny. He's gearing up. We're about to do this dad joke battle, so he's trying to get himself in the right mental space. I'm going to pull you off the screen, Dee Dee, but just keep your phone handy. Just keep it on.
Okay.
Because when we do some discussion questions, I can put you back up.
Okay. I'm going to mute it out then.
Yeah, it should mute when I pull you off.
Okay.
I think. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to do this. There we go. Okay, I got you off. So you're good.
Okay.
Say something. Let me see if I can hear you.
Hello?
Oh, I can still hear you. Hold on a second. Okay, now I got you muted. You're good. You can just keep your phone like that. Dylan and I are about to do this. Here, I got this picture I got to show. Let's see. Is it this one? No. Where'd it go? Aha! All right. Dad joke battle, Thanksgiving edition. I'm going to put myself back up here. And let's see. We got to go back to Dylan and me. There we go. Okay. So, Dylan, you want to start or do you want me to start?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
So
what's the rules first? Hold on. How do we play? Like, how do you get a point? Explain.
No laughing.
No laughing. Okay.
No cracking a smile, nothing. Just flight effect.
Got it. Okay. Go ahead.
I don't think you've got it. I don't think you're ready for it. What is the best song to play while cooking a turkey? All about that baste,
Pretty good. All
really?
right.
Nothing?
What did the turkey say before it went into the oven?
Oh no. I don't know.
I'm stuffed.
Mm.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. Jane's calling. Let's see if we can get her in for just a second.
Okay, I'm gonna mute it out then.
Yeah, I could mute when I pull you off. She's on her phone. You're supposed to do this. She's listening to us 2 minutes ago. So you're good. Hear me, Lee Jane?
This laugh doesn't count.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. There she is. Okay, hold on. I'm going to throw her up on the screen while we've got her just for a quick second. We'll continue the dad joke battle in just a second. Let's add her up here. Hi.
Hey.
Okay, so you won't see yourself because the stream is like 2 minutes behind. So here in 2
just
minutes,
so
yeah. So anyway, Dylan and I are doing dad joke battle.
Oh, Lordy.
But because you dialed in, we wanted to throw you up on the screen so you can say hi to everybody and tell us what
Dad
you're
joke
for.
Oh, I'm thankful for time to rest and to be with family and just getting to see where the Lord's been so awesome in our lives.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to continue our dad joke battle, but I don't know how much time you have. If you want to hang out, we're going to play the video in a little bit, and then we'll pause it and ask some questions, or you can bounce out for a little bit and then come back, whatever. But I'm going to pull you off the screen now, if I remember how to do that. Okay, now you're off. You're in the green room, so to speak, Lee Jane, and so is Dee Dee. She's in the green room as well. But you're not on live. It's just me and Dylan right now. So, okay. All right, Dylan.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
I don't think you're ready for this one. I don't think What do you call a running turkey? Fast food.
Pretty good. It's a pretty good one. All right. What about this one? What should you wear to Thanksgiving dinner?
Dressing.
A harvest. 1 point for me. I don't know why you left it that one.
Oh man!
All right. Your turn. Go.
All right. Why did the turkey cross the road?
To prove he wasn't a chicken.
Okay. Great job. He wanted people to think he was a chicken.
Okay. All right, so why was the turkey soup so expensive? It had 24 carrots. Anything? 2 points.
Dang it! I shouldn't be this bad at this.
You are bad at this. I thought you'd be better.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What's a popular Thanksgiving dance?
Turkey trot? I don't know. What?
I just said that. Turkey trot.
Oh. Okay. Okay, so you got one more, I got one more. Unless somehow... Okay, what was the turkey suspect of?
Foul play.
Yeah. Okay, what's your last one?
What do you call a turkey the day after Thanksgiving?
I don't know.
Lucky.
Okay.
Point.
Okay, you got 1 point, but I got 2, so I win. What does the turkey say when he's searching something on the internet?
I don't know.
Google. Get it?
Yeah,
Okay. Enough of the dad jokes. This is horrible.
One of mine.
All right. Okay. So I'm gonna pull you off for a second, Dylan. I'll get you back on here in just a minute. Okay. So we're talking about Upside-Down Kingdom. Our series has been about authority. I'm thankful. There's a lot of authority in my life that I've been thankful for. There's been some encounters with some authority that weren't so great, and I think we all have those situations. But there's some good things about authority, and we're all going to experience and have to deal with authority for all of our lives. And so we'll talk a little bit about kind of how to how to do that as we go throughout life. So we're gonna check out this video. We'll pause it every once in a while and ask some of our questions, and so you can respond in the chat, or if you have a friend with you, you guys can talk about it. I'll pull up Dylan or Lee Jane or Dee Dee or somebody else that might want to call in, and we'll talk about it that way as well. So here is the video.
Hey y'all, my name is Leslie, and okay, I have a confession to make. I know we don't know each other that well, but we about to just go with me. Okay, so back when I was in first grade, my class would go out to PE, and I would have to stay back in the classroom because I had really terrible allergies. And I think my first grade teacher, Miss Dupriest, hey girl, felt bad for me because she always would give me like an extra responsibility right before the class headed to recess. And I was fine not going outside, y'all. I was totally fine, but she didn't need to know that, right? So I enjoyed the privilege of having something extra, like that little bit of extra power in the classroom, even if no one else was there. Most times she would like give me a stack of papers to pass back out. And so when I was sure that they were down the hall and out of sight and couldn't hear anything, little first grade me would proceed to hop up on her desk, turn off the lights, and I would spend that whole hour basically hopping from desk to desk to desk with my little grimy, dirty tennis shoes, passing out the papers. And no one knew I was doing this. Y'all, I would have been in so much trouble. Like if I would have gotten caught, it would have been over. But listen, if standing on the desk wasn't bad enough, I also maybe might have stolen a sip of Diet Coke on her desk every time I hopped onto her desk. Yeah, me, a kid. I was having soda at school, like it was already unheard of. But sneaking your teacher's drink and a diet drink at that, y'all, it doesn't get any more grown up than that. You see, I was powerful simply for the fact that my teacher asked me in front of the whole class every day to pass out the papers while they were gone, signaling that I was special, right? In my mind, she was basically saying to them, she would never trust none of these little bad kids in there for an hour by themselves. So yeah, I was bestowed the honor of being the most trusted kid in my class. And yeah, I abused that power. Maybe I was the one who couldn't be trusted. I tell you that story to set up our time together today. We are going to be talking about having a little bit of power, right? And power looks different for everyone. For you, power might look like being the one who can captivate a group of people with a story and you're really great at being the center of attention. Or maybe the power to influence what your friend group does over the weekend or to influence how you'll handle the drama in your friend group. You're the one that they go to and say like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do, right? Or maybe power might look like having a later curfew or finally getting your driver's license. Or maybe you have an idea of the kind of power you want, you just don't have that power yet. Like, think about it for a second. Maybe you dreamt of being captain of your sports team. Maybe you wanted to be the first chair in the band. Maybe you thought about running for president of student council. Maybe you're a freshman or a sophomore and you can't imagine what it's gonna be like when you get to be an upperclassman. Or maybe you took the risk and you applied to be the manager for your shift at McDonald's. That was me at one point. But the idea of being in a place of power or authority, which is just someone who has more power than you do, it can be exciting. It can make us feel important, respected, or even a little bit intimidating to others. Having power gives us a sense of having a little bit of control. And who doesn't want that, right? If we're honest with ourselves, we'd all like to feel powerful because it puts us in control or above someone else. But if you have ever been in a place of power, you know that it doesn't always go the way you imagine, right? Like, even if you have some power, there's always someone else who has more, like your parent or your coach or your teacher. I mean, the other thing is, like, maybe you aren't even sure what to do once you get the power. You spend so much time looking forward to it, it actually shows up and you're like, Great, what do I do, right? Or maybe the other thing about power is it isn't always as great as you think it's gonna be, right? And that leaves us with some complicated feelings about power and about the people who have it and about the people who don't. About why we want it and what to do with it when we have it, and maybe we feel like it just never quite turns out the way we think it should. In other words, competing for and then gaining power can get complicated. So what do we do about it? Y'all, we're gonna talk about it. So, power and authority have been around from the beginning. And it wasn't designed to be as complicated as it sometimes feels, right? The opening part of the Bible is called Genesis, or Origin, fun fact, right? This book of origins, who people believe was written by Moses, is about the creation of all things, including human beings. And in it, he writes something incredibly important when it comes to our idea of authority or power. Then God said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and over the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." That line, did you catch it? It said, "so that they may rule." That was written about human beings from the very beginning, right? According to the writer, humans were literally put on this planet and given power or authority over the rest of creation. Humans, you and me, were designed by God to have traits of God, right? That's what it means to have God's image in us. And it's with God's image and his likeness in us that we are able to demonstrate and practice authority. Sounds great, right? Well, fast forward to today, and it's easy to see how humans have used power and authority for good. But that means that it's also easy to see the way that humans have also abused their power, changing things from the way they were supposed to be in the beginning. See, power has been used to liberate or help, but it's also been used to oppress or harm entire groups of people. Power has been used to bring peace, but it's also been used to start wars and have wiped out millions of people. Power has been used to create resources that meets people's needs, and it's also been used irresponsibly in a lot of cases. So even though power was a part of the deal from the beginning of creation, humans haven't always used it well.
Let's pause there for a second, and I have a question for you guys. So tell about a time when you were in charge of something, and how did it make you feel having that power? Let's go to Dee Dee. All right, Dee Dee, you're up. Oh, let's unmute Dee Dee. How do I unmute you, Dee Dee? It says I muted you, but I don't know how to unmute you. I can't hear you. I'm sorry, Dee Dee. I can't figure out how to unmute you. Oh, there we go. Found it. Okay, you're unmuted now.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Probably when I was in high school, I was a volunteer at the hospital, and I was a candy striper. That shows you how old I am. But I was a candy striper at the hospital, and I was the president over the candy strippers. And so I got to do the minutes, like do the meetings, and it made you feel important. It made you feel good to know that you were heading up something, especially at a young age. So
Okay. Dylan, I put you on the screen too now. Time when you were put in charge of something, and how did it make you feel?
Yeah, so it was back when I was a kid in high school and did it was like a student leadership night. Um, and it just put me, it was really exciting, but it also put me on this track of like, how do I be responsible then for my actions, and how do I empower others who are like my same age? So it made me feel important and valuable, and that I had purpose.
Okay. Here's the next question. What does having a little bit of power make, or why, not what, why does having a little bit of power make people feel like they want even more?
Is this for me or Dee Dee?
Whoever thinks of something first.
Usually because they gravitate towards you when you have a little bit of power. Like they just kind of, I don't know, they just look up to you. They
Mm-hmm.
look up to you and come to you for questions or different things, and you feel like you're in authority, I guess, to be able to answer those questions. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it feels good. That feels good, right?
mhm.
It makes you want more of that. What do you think, Dylan?
Yeah, I could say, I mean, having a little bit of power can kind of get to your head sometimes. And it's like, oh, like I can do this. And then we start working out of our own will and working out of our own means instead of trusting and relying on the Spirit and or God, and just it wants us to want more.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, so can you give examples? Here's the next question. Example of a time when power was used for good. I'm trying to think of a super practical one for myself, even. Um,
Yeah, I got one.
yeah, go ahead.
I would say it was definitely when we were back in school and a teacher noticed that a student wasn't being treated right by another teacher, and they had the power and authority to stand up against the wrongdoing. And so there was a time where that power was good and it was used for good because it protected somebody else.
That is good.
Very good. How about negative? Yes. Think of a time when somebody used their power, it was abused or used for negative purposes. I think a lot of examples for that. Just the news,
Yeah,
even looking at the media,
yeah,
when somebody like steals something from a company or, all of that. Even something simple like when somebody steals something from somebody, that's using an ability that they have to be able to take something, and it's abuse of power. But like, I think of situations where, like what you were saying, Dylan, where there was a teacher that was not treating a kid or student right. And so while the one teacher used their power for the good that helped prevent that and step in, the other teacher was being very, very negative towards that student. So yeah, no bueno for that stuff. So we all have these situations in our lives. So where power can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. So let's continue on with this this teaching.
In the band, maybe you thought about that was written about human beings from the very beginning. But that means that it's also easy to see the way that humans have also abused their power, changing things from the way they were supposed to be in the beginning. See, power has been used to liberate or help, but it's also been used to oppress or harm entire groups of people. Power has been used to bring peace, but it's also been used to start wars and have wiped out millions of people. Power has been used to create resources that meets people's needs, and it's also been used irresponsibly in a lot of cases. So even though power was a part of the deal from the beginning of creation, humans haven't always used it well. But that wasn't the case with Jesus, okay? Jesus turned the idea of power upside down. He flipped the idea of power upside down in a way that people didn't expect, and they didn't know what to do when he did that, right? He did things way differently than the religious leaders of his time. See, where other leaders fought to be seen as increasingly powerful by putting other people down, Jesus chose to do the opposite. Not only that, he did something none of them could have pulled off. he was killed by those leaders because they didn't like the way he did things. But then, in the biggest power flex of all time, he came back to life. In fact, just so that there were no questions, when Jesus came back to life, he made it really, really clear what kind of power he had. And he said this: "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me." I mean, there's really no room to question when it comes to Jesus' authority, right? He's like, hey, just in case you're wondering, after that whole dying, coming back to life thing I pulled off, I have been given all authority over everything, right? This is good news because it means that he is the perfect example of what it looks like to be powerful. Jesus could have used his power to put down or oppress other people, but he used it to do things that people didn't expect, right? He set out to create an upside down kingdom where power was used in a way that God had planned it from the beginning. See, in a culture that was used to powerful people doing things and being a certain way, it was upside down that Jesus used his power to show that he honored and valued women, to prove that he wasn't okay with corrupt and evil systems, to heal people who were sick, to hang out with the outcasts of society, to forgive people who had wronged him, to include people that the most powerful people typically just ignored or abused or murdered. He never used his power to make others feel small, hurt, or oppressed. The way he used his power is an example of power being turned upside down, but also it's the perfect picture of how to use power perfectly. No matter what your experience has been with people in authority, or whether you have or haven't handled power so well yourself, Jesus' example shows us how power is supposed to be used and what
Hey, there I am. Okay. So, couple more questions. Let's see if I can put you up here too, Dylan. All right. Okay, sweet. So you're there too, Dylan, right now. The question is, Jesus said in Matthew, like they said on the screen, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. And so we're told that Jesus knows that he is the best example of authority. Why do you think this matters?
We are supposed to trust people with authority. That matters because of just about everything that Jesus said. I mean, if he was given authority, yet we couldn't trust him. How could we trust what he said? But because he has been given authority, not just by man, but all authority on heaven and earth, we know him as somebody to be trusted.
Yeah.
And he shows that with his character, which is more important. Like his authority was used for good in almost in every single situation where he interacts with another person. And so that's how we can look to and trust what he says to be true.
Yeah. Yeah, good. So next question is, and Didi, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm going to try to add you here as well. Let's see if we can't. Okay, so Didi's muted, but maybe she'll pop on here in a second. But anyway, the next question is, so the speaker listed a lot of ways of Jesus used his authority in a positive way. And people were surprised the way that Jesus used his authority. So the question would be, why do you think people were surprised at his use of authority? And and you can think of something too, Dylan. But my first thought is because they didn't have good examples before Jesus in the area and in the time that they were. Didi, did you hear that question?
Are you
So the
talking to me?
question was, people were surprised at the way that Jesus used his authority, because she listed all the good things that he used his authority for, and then people were surprised
Right.
at that. So why do you think that they were surprised? So you can think about that, Dylan. Do you have a response?
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, it's countercultural to their norm. just particularly right around just where they were located and who the people were and their characters. That's why they're surprised, because Jesus showed them a whole new way, and um, it was just a more peaceful, more caring interaction. Probably something that they weren't used to. Um, yeah.
Any thoughts, Dee Dee?
Y'all pretty much summed it up.
Yeah.
Just yeah, the characteristic of the people, the people that he had following him. Everybody knew kind of their character before, so they had to know that this man really had some authority for them to have changed, and them visibly be able to see the change in the disciples that were following him. I mean, it's pretty much what you said, but
Yeah, okay. So we're going to hit the video. We'll watch it till the end now. But at the end of that, and students, you guys can be thinking about this too. What power or authority do you have currently? As we finish out this video, what power or authority do you have currently, and how might you use that to serve others? Because if Jesus is the best example of authority, and we see him use his authority to serve others in good ways, we also need to consider, okay, well, what authority do I have? As high schoolers, you have more authority than you had as a middle schooler. And it might be something like Dee Dee mentioned earlier, being the president of the Candy Stripers, where she had to do meetings and take notes and things like that. So she was given a role of authority. You might be a team captain. You might be a chair in band. You might be something with Beta Club, or there's a number of different areas as a high schooler that you could have authority in. Maybe it's authority that your parents has given you over siblings when they're not at the house. Maybe it's authority over animals that you're supposed to take care of, or different things like that. So you have authority in your life, even if it's just a little bit as a high schooler. So think about that authority as we finish out this video, and think about how you might use that authority to serve and help other people around you. All right, let's
or whether you have or haven't handled power so well yourself, Jesus' example shows us how power is supposed to be used and what it's supposed to look like. He has all authority, and he is in authority, and we can follow and model our lives after him when we've been given a little bit of power ourselves. He shows us what power and authority in an upside-down kingdom can and should look like. So what does this mean for you and me as we go through life trying to get this power thing right, okay? Really, the place to start is by choosing to rethink the way we think about power and authority. Why? Because whether we're people who push back against authority in our lives, or people who are looking for opportunities to gain more power and authority than we currently have, chances are we have seen or used power in a way that doesn't reflect the way that God intended for it to be used. So by rethinking it, we can choose to look to Jesus' example of authority in the way that God has always intended for power and authority to be used. If you're ready to take a new approach to the way you think about authority, here are a couple of ways to start. First, think about Jesus. Okay, before going after power or going against people who have power or authority over us, we should think about the things we just talked about that Jesus said and did. We should ask ourselves, what made Jesus a good authority figure, and how did he use his power? Then we'll be better able to know what to do when we are given power of any kind. And we'll also know what kind of authority figures are worth following. So then once